You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official. You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week wasn't anything major going on as far as Trump and shit goes, except for he wouldn't discuss the whole drone crap. So many people are reading that as, you know, he knows what's going on now and he can't discuss it until he gets back up there in office. He's just like, why don't you release this to the people? But the government won't do it. Anyways, the only other thing I saw, I'm not sure if it was today or yesterday, there is another school shooting in Wisconsin. It was done, supposedly it's done by a female TERF, a radical feminist. She claims she was a femcel, which is impossible. You can't be a femcel. They've literally proven this. There's no such thing. Plus, she had a boyfriend, so that erases that argument. How she could have a boyfriend, but her manifesto, you know, clearly states that she hates all men, while she can't stand them. That makes no sense either. It literally makes no sense. But anyways, they were first coming out saying she was a T-girl, all this other shit, but apparently she's just female. I don't know. They're still coming out with information on it. But yeah, supposedly she was a radical feminist. It's just funny that, you know, anytime you see violence of this kind of sort, it's always coming from the left. But regardless, at first they wouldn't tell you her race in any of the articles or anything like that, but apparently she's white. She hated Christians, so she attacked a Christian school. I don't know. It's just regardless. The thing that really irritated me was, you know, these politicians, these demon rats, you know, they don't care about your kids, but by gosh, they'll use them for political points, these dead kids, every time. Every time. Oh, we need more gun control now. Well, where were you, you know, some of these people that's been dying? Like that CEO, the insurance CEO. Why didn't you claim you wanted gun control then? You see what I'm talking about? It's just specific shootings. And then they want to talk about it and try to take away your rights. It's just ridiculous. They don't care about kids. They're greedy, evil politicians. The demon rats. They're evil. Anyways, moving on to what I really want to talk to you about. I just watched that Kraven the Hunter, the Marvel movie by Sony. Now, let's regard the fact that we're going to put this aside, but Kraven does not have any superpowers in the comics. None. He's just a master hunter. He's become one of the greatest hunters in the world. And he's learned to mimic the abilities of animals. He doesn't have super strength or super eyesight or any of that bullshit. But they put that in the movie. That's not Kraven. Anyways, regarding that fact, putting it aside, I did not know who the Calypso character was. At first I thought they were doing some kind of Vixen thing, but Vixen is DC. Kind of find out Calypso really is a Marvel character that teams up with Kraven in the comics to go after Spider-Man. I didn't know that because I've never heard of her. Apparently she's some type of African witch. An evil witch. The whole potion thing was kind of dumb. That never really happens. Not in the comics anyway. What else? I've never heard of the Foreigner. Apparently he's in the comics too. But he's not a Kraven villain or anything like that. He's supposedly a Silver Sable and Black Cat villain. But I'd never heard of him. And they don't really go and explain a lot of his abilities. Apparently he can hypnotize people for like so many seconds or whatever, but just by looking at them. That's the way it looked like in the movie. They did Rhino wrong in the comics. Rhino and who's that? Scorpion. I don't know exactly how it happens. I don't know if they're like stealing or they're raiding a military base, or the military just gives it to them. I don't know. I don't know the whole story there, but I do know they get these military suits, which makes them Rhino and Scorpion in the comics. So this whole genetic shit to make him Rhino, and it's completely a rewrite. That's not Rhino. So I don't know what the fuck the writer was thinking there. He was an idiot. They were supposed to do a Sinister Six. That's what all these movies for these spider villains were at, but they're getting them all wrong. They're screwing up the Sinister Six anyway, because they're not even doing the actual original Sinister Six. I think 4 of them they got right. The other 2, I don't know where they're going with that, but like the Chameleon was not part of the original Sinister Six. But towards the end, they made it to where his Sergei or Kraven's brother becomes the Chameleon. But it's all over the place. But they're canceling all that shit anyway. They're not going to do it. Kraven was kind of a disappointment. I'm not a real big fan of the actor who played him. He also played Quicksilver in the Avengers, but I totally forgot about that character anyway. They did Quicksilver wrong too, so anyways. But that was Disney Marvel that did that character. Sony keeps scrapping and rebooting shit all the time. So it's just, you'll see a reboot of this kind of shit in a couple of years, I guarantee it. They'll try something else. Because Madam Web bombed like a motherfucker. So now, because they just said, toss this one to the back burner, threw it away, Kraven pretty much bombed too. Anyways, the movie was okay. It's worth a one-time watch. But don't get excited over it, because It's not going anywhere. But if you want to check it out, go ahead, check it out. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, the acting was okay. The best part of the movie was Russell Crowe, and they made him do like this Russian accent, really thick. Like, he didn't need to do it that thick, but they did. I don't know. Yeah, a couple of decent action scenes in it, but all that, like, all that super strength and shit that he's doing at the beginning of the movie to break into the prison, break out, was just ridiculous looking. It was just dumb. There were a couple of scenes where he does something similar, like the abbey, the church he goes to. That was kind of dumb. But it's an okay movie. It's alright for a one-time watch, like I said. Check it out if you want. Let's move on to your B-movie reviews. Okay, movie-holics. This week is Sci-Fi Week. Now, the early 80s, even the late 70s, you had a couple, like, robot type movies, or cyborgs, or some shit like that. But man, did they blow up in the 90s with all that cyborg robot shit. Most of your sci-fi movies were about that. But I went ahead and did a couple of robot type movies. The first one's done in 1980. It made about $9 million. It was called Saturn 3. It starred the beautiful Farrah Fawcett. It had Kirk Douglas and Harvey Keitel in it. That was your whole cast plus the robot called Hector. Now, basically, they tried to make this kind of a thriller horror almost, but it was more sci-fi, in my opinion. Harvey, at the very beginning, he kills this other pilot or whatever because he wants to take his place on this flight. Now, he does this because they deem him unfit for pilot school, like he failed some test. Each pilot has to go through this test, psychological test, to where their thoughts are not interfering with their decision making. They don't become over emotional. Well, Harvey, he's a little over emotional. There's one point when he gets to the station, which only has Kirk and Farrah, he puts together this robot called Hector. And then, to help program him, he plugs him in like the Matrix. Like he has a plug in the back of his neck that directly plugs to his brain. Well, he's lusting after Farrah. He wants her. So naturally, the robot does too. And then the robot kind of goes on a killing spree trying to kill them all. But it kills Harvey and then takes on its persona. Kurt manages to kill it, the Hector robot, by committing suicide, basically. And then Farrer lives on. And that's basically the end of the movie. It was okay for what it was. It wasn't horrible. I actually liked some of the special effects in this, to be honest. Some of it was a lot better than what we have now. Kind of crazy because this is an old ass movie. But anyways, it's actually decent for a one-time watch. 2 thumbs up. Check it out. Not a bad movie. The next one was done in 1982, and there's no box office numbers for it. I don't think it went straight to video or anything, but it's called Android, and it starred Don Keefe. Opper, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me for if I mispronounce some of these names. They're just weird spellings sometimes. And then the leading lady was Bree Howard. There's only one woman in the movie, so well, no, there's 2. Sorry, I take that back. There is 2, but the blonde you only see a couple of times. The darker skinned girl with black hair, that's Bree Howard. Anyways, Android is about an android named Max. Now apparently there was this corporation on Earth that created androids, and they went bonkers. Some of them escaped, but a lot of them didn't. There was a big war over it. This scientist who created him, he's on this station. He's called Dr. So-and-so. Well, he makes a couple of androids. One of them's Max. Max don't know he's an android at first, but he realizes he is later on. He creates another android called Cassandra, a blonde, which he wants to use human, I don't know, some type of human interaction to make her more alive, I guess, more human. You have these 3 fugitives who escape on this prison ship, and Max lets them in. He lets them dock. 2 of them, one guy's Mendez or whatever, he's kind of a dick. And then you have the chick, and then you have this other dude, which they're like really good friends or some shit, the chick and the other escapee. But Mendez ends up killing the other escapee, which he thought that Mendez had killed the girl, but it wasn't Mendez. It was actually the doctor who killed the girl to help create Cassandra. Well, Cassandra awakens, and then Max and her end up taking out the doctor, which turns out to be an actual android, not human. And then she tells them about the android underground, and that they got to go save the androids on Earth. The police show up and they leave for Earth. Like, they don't know that they're androids. So that's the end of the movie. It's an okay movie. It's not bad for what it was. You know, it's not great, but it's not horrible. The acting was actually pretty decent. The story wasn't bad either. So I give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Not bad, but not great. Check it out if you want. You know, if you like early sci-fi or some shit. Okay, so that's all I have for you this week. Uh, if you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you have any, or if you can think of any underrated films or B movies that I've never even heard of, leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you to be told the truth, and you just been told.